Sorry, I came a bit late tonight. Last week we started Gospel of St. John, chapter 7. We started the verses 20 to 24 in John chapter 7, but we did not finish them yet. So we'll read them again and then, no, actually we finished them. So we'll start from 25, I just remind you, and then to read from 25 to 30. So, John chapter 7, from verse 25 to 30. Now some of them from Jerusalem said, "Is this not he whom they seek to kill? But look, he speaks boldly, and they say nothing to him." Do the rulers know indeed that this is truly the Christ? However, we know where this man is from. But when the Christ comes, no one knows where he is from. Then Jesus cried out as he taught in the sanctuary, saying, "You both know me, and you know where I am from, and I have not come of myself, but he who sent me is true, whom you do not know. But I know him, for I am from him, and he sent me. Therefore, they sought to take him, but no one laid a hand on him, because his hour had not yet come. And many of the people believed in him and said, "When the Christ comes, will he do more signs than these which this man has done?" We stop at this and God willing finish them and then go more. If you remember last week, from the verses 20 to 24, there was talking about him and that he is breaking the Sabbath. And the rulers were spreading that he is breaking the Sabbath. And then he explained to them that the Sabbath is made for the man, and that he is the Lord of the Sabbath. And you break the Sabbath to circumcise a man, that is 8th day of his birth on the Sabbath, while the Sabbath is not a commandment of Moses, whom you are putting very high up, but the Sabbath is from God to Abraham, the father of fathers, far before Moses. Far before Moses. So, if something is not very important to the life of the person, to circumcise him on the Sabbath in the 8th day, or on the Sunday on the 9th day, that you don't break the Sabbath, you accept to break the Sabbath. And I healed a full man that was lying 38 years paralyzed on the Sabbath, and you are upset and want to kill me. That was the last debate of the Lord. And then he said to them, "Do not judge according to the outwardly things, or judge lightly, but understand properly before you judge." So that's what we stopped at last week. And I took from it that a lot of times we in life judge according to what we see, without searching or knowing where is the exact truth and what is happening there. In those verses 25 to 23, if we read 25 to 27 to remember the first three ones, look to them with me. Now some of them from Jerusalem said, is this not he whom they seek to kill? But look, he speaks boldly, and they say nothing to him. Do the rulers know indeed that this is truly the Christ? However, we know where this man is from. But when Christ comes, no one knows where is he from. First of all, those who attended the feast of the tabernacles, are three categories of people. Category one, the religious leaders, Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, priests, high priests, and they are full of jealousy and envy and harsh feelings and want to get rid of the Lord by all means, because in their understanding that is expression as if he took the carpet from under their feet. They were the big leaders, but they know more of reputation or of fame or of being famous, and I think the people now are running after the Lord because of the great miracles he is doing. So that is the first category. Second category, the people of the congregation who are originally from Jerusalem. The area Israel at the time, the whole Judea, is so big. Jerusalem is a center, like a capital. Zion is a capital, and Jerusalem is the center of the capital, where the house of the Lord, where the worship, where the sacrifice, everything. So those from Jerusalem, they are torn between two things. Big conflict between what they hear the rulers, because they are in Jerusalem all the time. They hear the rulers and the Pharisees and the scribes all the time. Between that, they hear them and know that in their mind, he is a blasphemer, he is this, he is that, he have to be killed, all of this. But they, as humans, hear what the miracles the Lord did, what is going on. They see like the paralytic man to be walking, carrying his bed. See the blind man, his eyes opened, and so on. So they are in big conflict inside, confusion between, is this the Christ or not? This is category number 2. And then category number 3, the rest of the Jewish people who came from everywhere to attend the feast. As I mentioned in the beginning of this chapter about the Feast of Tabernacles, was one of the main 3 feasts that every single Jewish person have to attend, out of question. So they came from everywhere. They heard about the miracles of the Lord. They have no contact much with the rulers or the Pharisees or Sadducees. They don't know about this envy and jealousy and want to killing. So they honor the Lord. That is why he said here in 25, some of them from Jerusalem said, is not he whom he seeks to kill, but look, he speaks boldly. These are, as I said, the people of Jerusalem who are in conflict between the two, between their leaders, the religious ones, and their evangelists and all what they talk about the Lord, and between what they are seeing and noticing of miracles and of signs that no one else have done or have ever done or can do. And now them seeing the Lord teaching in the sanctuary publicly, seen by everyone, it is a confusion. How come from one side those rulers say that he is blasphemer, he is this, he is that, you have to kill him? And how come leaving him to teach in the sanctuary? While the sanctuary is under their own control. But what is happening is that the people, after they heard the Lord a few times, the Sermon on the Mountain, which took 3 chapters in Matthew, other things, they love to hear the Lord. And they said it between themselves, he is teaching like with authority, not like the scribes. He is teaching in a total different way. So they like to hear to the Lord, listen to the Lord. So they did not or could not able to stop him from teaching until the people would rise against him. And then they questioned accordingly. If they want to kill him, and they see he's a blasphemer, and he is teaching how it match, how it is, it doesn't work like this at all in their mind. And then in verse 27, it is like another conflict. However, we know where this man is from. He's born in Bethlehem, they know this. But in their mind, but when the Christ comes, no one knows where he is from. Because in their mind, the Messiah will come from heaven to save them. And yes, the Lord came from heaven, that's what he will answer them in the next verses. But he has to incarnate, to be born like a human, to save us from the judgment on us humans by the Lord God. But they do not understand this fact. And here, there is in verses 28, 29, if we look to them together, then Jesus cried out as he taught in the sanctuary, saying, you both know me, and you know where I am from. And I have not come of myself, but he who sent me is true, whom you do not know. But I know him, for I am from him, and he sent me. Before I get into these 2 verses in a bit of details, you notice here the divinity of the Lord. I said the Gospel of St. John is a theological gospel who highlights the divinity of the Lord. The Lord did not appear with the multitudes in that feast unless he is standing teaching in the sanctuary. So they are outside in the big noise and people and talking and as you know in such things, and talking about, we know he is from, but Christ we don't know who he's from. Isn't this the one they want to kill, but he is teaching? The Lord knew this and confronted them in 28. Jesus cried out, said, you both know me and you know where I'm from. He heard them because he is God. He hears everything, he knows everything. What anything happens, he knows. And then said to them, I have not come from myself. But again, if you remember, I always say, in the Gospel of St. John, you see this very clearly. I said once before, we were explaining, in the 4 Gospels, the Lord does a great miracle, being God, then show weakness. that the devil is confused. The devil is not sure, is this Christ or not? Is this is coming for salvation or not? He was confused and explained this maybe with the servants meeting, I think. It's a servants meeting, but not here. Briefly, the Lord was going, while he was with us on earth incarnate for our salvation, like the sine curve, up and down. A great miracle, then show weakness. They want to kill him, they want to stone him, they want to push him down the mountain, they talk about him, and so on. So here, he did a great miracle before, then telling them, you know from where I am from, but I didn't come from myself. You are wondering about my miracles. You're wondering how I, with a one word to the paralytic man for 38 years, made him strong, standing, carrying his bed and going. But on the other hand, you think you know from where I came. No, you don't know the reality. I came from the Father. I'm from Him. So, and then, who He sent me is true. He is God. He is one with the Father. But He claims that He is sent by the Father, as if He is less or not equal. But in another place, He made it clear in chapter 14, I and the Father are one. I am in the Father and the Father is in me, very clearly. So He wants to tell them that He came to save us, the humans, the human nature, from the judgment of death, eternal death forever in hellfire with the devils, that we committed in the human nature. So, He has to take the form of a human. So He has to be born, but born from a virgin. As in Genesis chapter 3, the promise the Lord gave for salvation when He was punishing Adam and Eve and the serpent for the sin, He said, the seed of the woman alone, will crush the head of the devil, that is Satan, or the head of the serpent, that is the devil. So, the Lord has to come from a virgin without any human touching here, born in the same nature, the human nature, that in the same nature that sinned, He accepts this to free us from the judgment of this. And St. Paul mentioned this very clearly in Hebrews chapter 2, verses 14, 15. Those two verses are very important. Carrying a theological meaning. We'll get Hebrew chapter 2, 14, 15. You are already, I want you to follow with me. Inasmuch then as the children have partaken of flesh and blood, that is the human nature, He Himself with capital H, likewise shared in the same, that through this, that He accepts this, He might destroy him with small h, that is the devil, who had power of this, that is the devil, and release those who, through fear of death, were all their lifetime subject to bondage. I read this again. And release those who, through fear of death, were all their lifetime subject unto bondage. Mean through the fear of the death of sin that came upon them, they were under the bondage of the devil. It was that every human being, before the Lord came to save us, that dies, regardless that being is a prophet, is a father of fathers, is whatever, his soul is captured by the devil to be in Hades with the devil. That was the case before the Lord came. That is why he is telling them in these verses here, answering their query. We know where is he from, but Christ shouldn't know whom to tell him. In my incarnation, to save you all, to redeem you all, you know me because I'm in the flesh in front of you, and know from where I am because I have to be born from a virgin, and I have been born in Bethlehem. But what you don't know, that before this, before me appearing to you in the flesh like this, as it is in Hebrew, as much as the children, all of us, shared in the flesh and the blood, the same God has to come incarnated in the same nature to redeem us. So what you don't know is that before I am incarnated like this, and saw me in front of you like a human like you, and know from where I came, I am originally from before any beginning, God. I am in the Father is in me. I am from the Father, I am in Him, He is in me. I and Him are one. I came only to save you people. I took your flesh and blood to save you people. And that is, I did it in my love to mankind. That is why the most term repeats in our prayers, lover of mankind, God's lover of mankind, to save you. And that is why, as your grandfather Adam and grandmother Eve were deceived by the devil through the serpent to accept his own sin, the devil's sin, the pride, to be like God, as he said to Eve, when you eat of the tree, you will be like God. As your grandfathers accepted this and wanted the pride, like the devil was again wanting to be like God, and he was kicked out of heaven. And that is why they were kicked out of paradise and lost connection with God only through prophets. I has to come in absolute humility. And as if I cannot do anything on my own, I have to do what the Father tells me. Humility, absolute humility. And after I do a miracle, and then something happened opposite. Again, it's as if I am accused. I wanted to kill me, to arrest me, they blaspheme against me, and so on, like this. So, in my status, incarnating in the human nature, yes, you know me as in your human mind, you found out I was born in Bethlehem and I grew up like humans. But in the original status of me, I am God, that you don't know from where I am. I am in the Father is me. I and the Father are one. I am God. He's saying this to them, but a bit of indirectly, unless they will stone him if he says, I am God. He's saying, but from the words, it is understood. If we read again 28 and 29, then Jesus cried out as he taught in the sanctuary, you both know me, and you know where I am, and where I have come from. I have not come of myself, but whom who sent me is true. But I know him, that is the Father, for I am from him, and he sent me. So telling them, I am God, but indirectly to answer what they have been reading together. And then if you look to 31, which is the last verse in this group of verses, therefore they sought to take him, to arrest him in another way. But no one laid a hand on him, because his hour had not yet come. And if you notice in the gospel, this was repeated few times. They want to arrest him, but they cannot. Why they cannot? Because God is setting a certain time in which he will be on the cross to accept this on our behalf to save us. So any trial to arrest him before that time will never succeed, will fail. Any trial to arrest him before this set time will never succeed. That's why I said few times before, when you read the gospel, you find this. Try to do anything to him or arrest him, but it doesn't work. And even this chapter is coming up again in the same chapter. So, but no one laid hand on him, because his hour had not yet come. The time did not come yet. His hour has not come. And many of the people believed in him and said, when the Christ comes, will he do more signs than these which this man has done? Here, when he says many of the people, remember I said there are three categories. The religious leaders, the people of Jerusalem who are with them all the time, the general people who came from everywhere in Judea and in Israel. Here in verse 31, people, he means those people, the general ones that are from everywhere apart from those who are from Jerusalem. Usually, all the time, all the generations, there is, we preach the word of Lord, of God. We speak. The apostles go to somewhere to speak. Some people believe simply, and some people do not believe. That is the case all the time. When the Lord went to say Thessalonica or here or this, the people who are not originally Jewish believed and were happy to see him that following Saturday. And when he came, the Jewish people came as well and keep resisting him and standing against him. But the other people want to hear him. So the authority, many of the people believed, saying what? If when the Christ comes, will he do more miracles than this? It's logic. The miracles they see force them to believe in him. So it was another conflict here. The people all in the feast, those of Jerusalem confused and not able to announce it unless they will be in trouble. The religious leaders want to kill him, to treat him by all means. The simple general congregation that came from everywhere, believing and talking logically. Will Christ do more miracles than this? We have seen raising dead, healing paralytics, opening eyes of blind people. Will he do more than this? Logic talking, say yes, we believe in him. Now, this confusion and they questioning like this, you will find the result in the next verses. What was the result of it? So if you look together to verse 32 to 36. 32 to 36. The Pharisees heard the crowd murmuring these things concerning him. And the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to take him or to arrest him in another way. Then Jesus said to them, I shall be with you a little while longer, and then I go to him who sent me. You will seek me and not find me, and where I am you cannot come. Then the Jews said among themselves, where does he intend to go, that we shall not find him? Does he intend to go to the diasporation among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? What is this thing that he said, you will seek me and not find me, and where I am you cannot come? As I said, in the first verses between 25 to 31, the three categories: religious leaders full of hatred and jealousy and want to kill him, people of Jerusalem confused and in a big conflict between this and this, general people from everywhere else away from Jerusalem already believed in him, seeing all the miracles he is doing. And for sure, those leaders are hearing everything. And hearing that the people that from outside of Jerusalem believed in him. So they became very angry. So they wanted to arrest him. They sent officers at 32 to arrest him. And when they came to arrest him, Jesus said to them, I shall be with you a little while longer. Yani don't rush to arrest me now. It's not my time now. I am with you for some more time. A little while longer. And then I go to him he sent me. Means that I am with you until I allow you to arrest me. And I'll explain this now in a second. I allow you to arrest me. Then I go to him he sent me. It means I go to heaven back from where I came to the Father. I am the Father one. We are. I am in him one together. Then in 34, you will seek me and not find me where I am. And where I am you cannot come. It means that when I accept this, then rise from the dead, then ascend to heaven, that is what we celebrate, Holy Great Friday for crucifixion and accepting this. Joyous Saturday next to the tomb, Resurrection Day for his resurrection, Ascension Feast for his ascension. That is what he means. I go, where I am you cannot come. For sure they cannot go to heaven. Very simply like this. So, first of all here, they sent to arrest him. Later on when we read, the officers could not arrest him. And the leaders and the rulers were very angry with them and started to show anger with different fish, which when we come to Egypt to eat the next verses, you will see what is it. But here, I would like to highlight a point. I said two things I need to explain. Unless the time comes that he sit within his knowledge before even he comes to incarnate, that this is the time he will accept to go on the cross. No one can arrest or touch him. Unless he allowed them. What does this mean? Later on, when we reach chapter 19 in John, where they sent Judah with Judas Iscariot officers and the captains and all this stuff to arrest the Lord, he came to them by himself in the garden. Whom do you seek? Jesus of Nazareth. He said, I am he. But he said it by the divinity. They all fell on their backs down. And then said to him, arise, arise, that you know you are nothing. Unless I allow it, you cannot do it. Then he said to them, whom do you seek? They said, Jesus of Nazareth. He said, I am he, but with the humanity, not with the divinity. And here they could arrest him. But that explains that unless the set time comes, no one can touch the Lord. That is what is mentioned here as well. And then he would like to tell them that they wanted, at the beginning of that chapter 6, to make him king. After the great miracle of the paralytic man, and the blessing of the 5 loaves and 2 fish for the multitudes, and what is before it in Cana of Galilee, etc. So they wanted to make him king. But he is not coming to be a king. He is the Lord God, the King of all kings that on earth that he sits by himself. The Jewish people in their mind all the time and until now, that the Messiah will come to make a great kingdom, to rule over the whole world, wars, fights, overcome this country, to become rulers over the whole world, and he is the great king, and they are his ministers and his chief people, and etc. That is what in their mind. But the Lord never come like this. That is why this gospel of he wanted to make him king, and he went to the mountain alone, is the gospel of one of the prayers in Yoreh Agpeya, called the prayer of the veil of the day, and then under it 4 monks. Why 4 monks? Because what the monk does, he is in the world in this position, this. Love of the Lord fills his heart. Want to give him or herself fully to the Lord. Leaves everything and go to the deserts to be a monk or a nun in the monastery in the deserts. That is why I said 4 monks. And also, it is at the longest hour. If you look to it, the Psalms in it, it is too long. The longest hour in all the Agpeya hours, and it takes time, needs time. And the monk, his life is dedicated for the prayer. The most important thing with the monk is the prayer. So, he did not come to the world to become a king at all, like they think. But he came in a certain time, limited time, to accept to be crucified, accept this, to crush the devil. And his throne of kingdom is the cross. Might this sound strange to you? Every king in a great throne, and with things when When the queen of the Sabbath heard about Solomon the king and how the greatness and richness he was in, and came to see him, to consult him with something, because she heard about his wisdom. And when she saw his throne and the people who are serving him, and how the throne is set, and the gold, and it's mentioned in the book of Kings and Second Samuel, there this, word by word. When she saw him, and his throne, and his servants, and what is surrounding him, there was no spirit left in her. Almost fainted from what he have seen. That is the kings of the earth. But the Lord came. His throne is the cross, on which he crushed the devil and bought our souls to himself by his own blood. And we became part of his kingdom. And that's why we pray in our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come. You are the king of my life. I give all my life to you, Lord. I am yours, that I can be with you at the end in heaven. So, in those verses, while the Lord showed it to them that they cannot arrest him, still sometime I'm here on the earth until the time comes that I accept crucifixion and death by myself. As he said in chapter 10 in the same Gospel of John, he said, I lay my life with myself and I take my life back. It is my authority. I accept this on the cross. No one can cause this to me. And I rise from the dead by my authority, being God. I'm God. It is my authority. It is what I can do, what is for me. And that's why he said to them, I am here for some time. He knows his time. When it comes for the crucifixion, then I will go back. Then you will seek me, you will not find me. And where I go, you cannot come. I am with you for some time. You cannot arrest me now, it's not yet the hour yet. At the set time, I'll be accepting this. I rise and go back to heaven and send back to heaven. And you will never know where I am. And never come to where I am. But only at the end of the ages. At the end of this world. And when he said this, is still in an earthly mind. Still an earthly mind. They thought, is he go to the dispersion of the Greeks to preach the Greeks? What does this mean? The Greeks invaded the people in Judea before the Romans, and they showed them a very hard time. So that the Jews cannot go to the Greeks or Greek at all, to Greece at all. So to them, when he said, you cannot find me or can't come where I am, is he going to the Greece, to the Greeks in Greece? Because we cannot go there at all. That is again in their own earthly mind. So this is 35, then 36. What is this thing that he said, you will seek me and not find me, and where I go, you cannot come. I explained this fully. So I took 2 sections without asking if there is any questions. I always stop to ask questions. All is good. all fully understood? Right. It is 9:15 now. We started a bit late. Shall we stop at this and continue next week? What do you think? A bit more or stop now? Stop now, put your hands up. Stop now, put your hands up. Okay, we'll leave it to next week. I'll just put a marker where we stopped.